Good morning, community. It's RJ back with another video. So let's get to it. If you watched the Sunday trivia recap the other day, you will note that I spent a lot of time talking about the fact that I went to the Philly show this past weekend. Picked up a lot of great stuff. So pretty much everything I show you this week will be related to that Philly show stop off. Not everything per se, but most things. So let's get to that, shall we? Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. This is something I hadn't spent a lot of time purchasing. There's a lot of Mike Schmidt memorabilia out there, as well as there's memorabilia from every great sports hero or team. And some things, as a Mike Schmidt collector, I want it all, but I just haven't wasted my time buying certain things because um, I don't really need it. It's never going to accumulate much value, but it's a Mike Schmidt item. And finally, at the Philly show today, I went to my favorite guy who sells Philadelphia memorabilia, all kinds of things Phillies, and I think Mike Schmidt's one of his favorite players, but also he loves Cal Ripken because he's always got a lot of Cal Ripken things there too. But I finally pulled the trigger on a $5 Mike Schmidt button pin button back kind of thing. So it's just an image, Mike Schmidt, around about the mid 80s. Don't know the exact year from the picture of his face there, but somewhere in the mid 80s. And it's just it's unnamed, unidentified. A lot of times the button will have manufacturer information down here. I can't really tell. There is some manufacturer information along the rim there, but I finally pulled the trigger and got myself a button. I have a few lapel pins, not many, but things like this with buttons and pins and things, everybody makes them. There's thousands of them sometimes on one player because it was something anybody could make and sell pretty much without consequences of licensing. Unfortunately, they just did it. And I just haven't bothered to start picking up Mike Schmidt related buttons, but I finally did this one. I don't know, it's about 2.5 inches, maybe, 3 inches in diameter, something like that. So that is my random Mike Schmidt item of the day. Picked it up at the Philly show this past weekend. Another thing I picked up, glad I got this actually, because I've been thinking about buying it off the bay and I just didn't want to spend the money. Another thing, again, these are things that just have no value at all unless it's from some crazy person like me. The 1991, I believe, or no, 1989 Mike Schmidt Collector's Kit. I'm sorry, Mike Schmidt. Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle Baseball Card Kit. All right. Came out in 1989. It was a licensed MLB product. It's really interesting. They made several of these for various players, and I've begun collecting all of them. So the first one I got was a Babe Ruth collecting kit, and again, I got that Babe Ruth collecting kit from purchasing somebody else's collection. I got a Jose Canseco one, again, from buying somebody else's collection. And then I noticed there's a the Mickey Mantle one, and there's a Don Mattingly one. I'm not sure how many others there are, but this one I went on the bay several times looking at it, and they want $15, $20, $25. One guy had 5 up for sale, bulk package for like $25 and shipping and whatnot. And I kept waiting and waiting and didn't want to pull the trigger. Well, at the Philly show this past weekend, somebody had this on the shelf for only $5, the Mickey Mantle Baseball Card Kit. It is made by a company called CMC, Collectors Marketing Corp. All right. This one, it's not unopened. It was taped shut. Both sides were taped shut, so it was open. The box was opened, but this, which is what you find when you open the box, was still sealed. I broke the seal on this, and what you get in a baseball card collecting kit is this binder. It's empty of cards, but it has a little pamphlet here, a little leaflet, talking about the Mickey Mantle story, which is essentially just some stats, bio on Mickey. Come on, I know I can open it. There's a big little write up about his life and career. Mantle was still alive at the time, and stats at the end. But it also had this little plastic record You'd see these on some of the old style. Back in the, I think, 60s, they made these. They made a run of baseball legends. But this one is, excuse me, it's called a talking baseball card, which is kind of ridiculous. It's a record, for goodness sake. I do not own a record player in this day and age. I don't know many I guess there are a couple people who still own record players because I know records were making a comeback. This is a little 33 and a third RPM plastic record. So I imagine if you put this on a player, it'll have a interview with Mickey or something like that. So Mickey Mantle talks about switch hitting. So I guess somebody found a little interview of him and recorded it on this little record and put it in the collector's kit. The other thing is this. I'm not going to open these, but it's a 20 card set. I'm not going to open this on camera, but I will open this up. I actually, all the ones that I had, they had the 20 cards, and you put them in this binder. There's a few more spaces other than the 20 cards, and I usually just populate those additional spaces with cards I have in my collection, extra cards from whoever the player was. So I have various Mantle cards, modern and reprint cards that I'll slip in the back here because I have these things put in the album. I like to put all the cards in the album and have this in the box. I'll put this back in the front. I'll put this back in the back. And I'll upload these cards plus a few more that I have. And that will be the way I store my Mickey Mantle baseball card kit that I got at the Philly show for $5. Very happy about that. Very happy about that. So, again, just another thing that I can say RJ Collects set. And I have that set, the Mickey Mantle baseball card kit. Excuse me. So, today's trivia question, really cool prize. This is out of the Common Collection from 1992. This is a standard card within the set. It is numbered 444. It is Joe Jackson, a little subset within the 1992 Common Collection that says, why not in the Hall of Fame? And it had several players who that the makers of the Common Collection thought should be in the Hall of Fame. It was interesting. One of those was an individual named Hal Newhouser, Tigers pitcher during the war years, certainly before and after, but he had 2 MVPs back-to-back, 44 and 45. A lot of people claim he got those because his pitching improved so much while the stars were away, so to speak. But in this case, Joe Jackson, everybody knows why he's not in the Hall of Fame. And until that rule disappears for Joe Jackson and also for Pete Rose, Joe Jackson will not be in the Hall of Fame. But this is a cool Joe Jackson card, I think. That is your prize if you can answer this question. It is pennant season time. So I'm going to ask this week questions about the pennant races as the season came to an end. In one of the most famous pennant races ever was 1951, when the Giants caught the Dodgers. The Dodgers were way ahead and mocking the Giants actually mid-season. And the Giants came back and tied the season at the end of the year. They had identical records. They were tied. And the National League rule at the time was for a 3-game playoff. American League rules at the time were for a one and done. That happened a number of times, but the National League was 3-game playoff. And the two teams, the Dodgers and the Giants, split that in 1951. And obviously, in one of the most famous things ever, excuse me, was when Bobby Thompson hit his home run off of Ralph Branca and the Giants won the pennant, blah, 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 blah. My question to you is, that third game that decided that the Giants would go to the World Series in 1951, where was it played? In which of the two stadiums did that game occur? So answer me that question. Send me an email with the correct answer. I will include my email in the description below along with a repeat of that question. You will have today and tomorrow to answer, and we will pick a winner on Sunday, and the winner will get that awesome Joe Jackson card, all right? Okay, so today what I want to show off is one of 3 sets I picked up at the card show, or at the Philly show this past weekend. Very excited about getting this one, and certainly very excited about getting the 3 I'm going to show off this week, so please come back. But the 1969 Topps Deckle Edge set. So the Deckle Edge cards were inserts into packs of Topps in 1969. You got 1 per pack. And you can see here, it was very simple. Just a kind of like, they called it Deckle Edge because they printed the cards with this weird, you know, I don't know, saw cut edge kind of look to it. I don't know what you want to call it. Almost like a doily or something like that. This fancy edge, Deckle Edge. And I imagine they printed the cards like this first and then stamp cut the Deckle Edge around the corner. But a lot of big name players in the set. These are ranked in order by number. This is Brooks Robinson was 1 of 33. So you got Brooks Robinson. The signatures are all facsimile signatures in blue. Looks kind of cool. It almost looks like he got an autographed card, especially because all the images are black and white. But it is, in fact, a reprint or a printed signature. These are not original signatures. You have Brooks Robinson, Boog Powell, great Orioles first baseman for many years. Boog Powell's number 2. Ken Harrelson, the Hawk. I think he's retired now from broadcasting White Sox game. He was the White Sox announcer for many, many years. I believe that's a Boston Red Sox uniform he's wearing there. Carl Yastrzemski, Hall of Famer. Jim Fregosi. People forget Jim Fregosi was a dang good player in the mid to late 60s and even slightly into the 70s. He was a very good player, all-star in a couple of years. Third baseman, Jim Fregosi, went on to be the Phillies manager in the 1993 great season. Louis Aparicio with the White Sox. Louis Tiant, still with the Indians before he went on to the Red Sox, which is where most people probably know Louis Tiant from. Denny McLain. I always loved Denny's glasses. He looked like such a nerd. I mean, not like I'm not, but Denny McLain with the Tigers. Willie Horton, all-star heavy hitter slugger for the Tigers. Bill Freehan, one of the best catchers ever in the 60s. Bill Freehan. Jimmy Wynn, just called Jim Wynn. It's interesting here. I want to show you what's great about this set is it is a 33 card set, obviously, because you can see it says on the back, 1 of 33. Well, Jimmy Wynn is card number 11 of 33. Right after Jim Wynn is Hoyt Wilhelm, Hall of Famer. He's also 11 out of 33, and this is an identified variation. There are 2 variations in the card set. I'll show off both of them. I love this. It's Rod Carew, really early Rod Carew card, but it's called Rodney Carew. This one's a little, the image is kind of really off-center. In fact, it goes up into the corner of the card. Maybe someday I'll spend a couple bucks to buy a new one. These cards, the Deckle Edge cards, are very inexpensive. You know, a couple bucks for the Hall of Famers, $1 maybe for the people like Mel Stottlemyre. And they don't, you know, getting a set though, you know, you have to get all the Hall of Famers and everybody, and it can go for a couple $100, you know, just over $100 sometimes. But I was happy to find a guy who had this set, and I had to get it. Rick Monday, Tommy Davis of the Dodgers. I don't know why they airbrushed out some of these things. I don't know why they did that to a couple of these players. They airbrushed out the logos. It might have been because they were traded. You know, maybe they had been traded in the off season when they did the set, and they didn't have pictures of them in their new uniforms. That's my guess, because most of the people have their logos of their teams, but some of them have been airbrushed out. Frank Howard, legendary slugger. Felipe Alou. It's interesting, there were, if you know your Alou brothers, there were 3 of them, but for whatever reason, Felipe is the only guy who shows up in these sets. I guess he might have been the better of the 3, don't know. He's on the Braves there. Don Kessinger of the Cubs. Really young-looking Ron Santo. This is from '69. I'm not sure if he still looked that young, but quite the young-looking Ron Santo there. Tommy Helms. Pete Rose. Young-looking Pete Rose, too. Rusty Staub. I love me a Rusty Staub. I thought he was a great guy. Borderline Hall of Famer, in my opinion, Rusty Staub. Joe Foy. I have no idea who Joe Foy is, but again, here's the other variation. Rusty Staub is card number 22, and so is Joe Foy, card number 22. Those were the two variations then in the set, because when I counted them at the show, it says on the back there's 33 cards, but I started counting. I kept getting up to 35, trying to figure it out. Luckily, I keep my phone with me, and on there I have my link to the tradingcarddatabase.com, so I can figure out what all the problem is with these things. So why is everything the way it is? So Tom Holler, don't know Tom Holler at all, and there he is on the Dodgers. Maury Wills. See, Maury Wills, it looks like he's dressed up for the Indians, which a team he did later in the career, but he was a Dodger, as we all know, but maybe he's a Pirate or something. I don't know. Maury Wills, but airbrushed out logo. Jerry Koosman, the Mets, Rich Allen for the Phillies. Roberto Clemente. That's what I love about these sets is you get this. This is a playing era Roberto Clemente card. 1969 Roberto Clemente Decal Edge. Very, very cool. Curt Flood. Nice Bob Gibson. And again, he signed it Robert Gibson. This guy I'm not familiar with too much. Al Ferreira. Doesn't say what team it is, but they airbrushed out his logos. Looks like he's a Dodger in that particular picture. Willie McCovey, Hall of Famer. Juan Marichal, Hall of Famer. And the final card in the set, which is great about this set, Willie Mays. And again, a playing era Willie Mays card from 1969. So this whole set cost me about $100. I was thrilled to have it. You know, could I have got it for less? Maybe. Could I have bargained them down a little bit? I did bargain them down because I bought two sets. Actually, I'll show you the other one another day. But a fantastic addition to my collection. I'm thrilled to have a 1969 complete set with variations of the Topps Decal Edge cards. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that little video. If you did, please consider like, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really do appreciate your support as I try my best to support everybody else in this great card community. Do not forget the trivia question. You can get that great Joe Jackson card there in the background if you just submit a guess. I usually don't take correct answers over guesses. I just want people to participate, and I'm glad you all do. So come back again on Wednesday. We'll have more great trivia and prizes, and I'll be showing off some more great acquisitions from the Philly show. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Take care.